जय वायुमान। धन्यवाद महोदय।
धन्यवाद। माननीय सदस्य श्री अनिल देसाई जी।
Thank you, Chair Sir. Sir, I rise to speak on the protection of interest in aviation objects bill 2025. So this bill seeks to implement international conventions on leasing of aviation equipment. The bill aims to implement international agreements, particularly the Convention on International Interest in Mobile Equipment, that is, we call it commonly, it is Cape Town Convention, that is CTC, and its Protocol on Aircraft Equipment. We became signatory to these agreements in the year 2008. The bill is designed to bring the international agreements into India's legal framework, ensuring that creditors and stakeholders in the aviation leasing space are protected under these guidelines. The bill empowers the central government to make rules and implement the provisions of the convention and protocol. This legislation designates DGCA, Director General of Civil Aviation, as the registry authority for the purposes of the convention. So the registry authority, DGCA, is responsible for the registration and deregistration too. The main provisions of the bill include the requirement of the creditors to notify the DGCA before initiating any kind of remedies in the event of a default. In cases where defaults occur, creditors are entitled to recover their assets, such as aircrafts, engines, or helicopters, within 60 days, that is 2 months, or any time frame agreed mutually upon. This legislation also intends to provide much needed clarity and security, particularly in the leasing sector, leasing industry, I mean. So this all necessitated because the way Go Air, that is Go First airline, which became broke, and NCLT came into the play. Now NCLT, when it comes into the play, naturally insolvency and bankruptcy code, that is 2016 code, which under section 16 it started operating, section 10 rather, and that stopped the rights of the CTC to operate, because it is important that unless the CTC is the convention code is ratified by the Parliament, it doesn't come into operation, and that is the reason why we are discussing this bill and the legislation enactment will be passed. With the impact of that very event of Go Air, that is Go First, that as mentioned by Rudy ji, that aviation working group which monitors and assesses the implementation and application of the Cape Town Convention, the ranking which we had and the score what we had, from 69 we came to 63. And the investment in this very industry, the lessors, they withdrew the investment which was due to come to the country, which stopped for a while. And that was a question of concern, because India had a tremendous potential as far as aviation sector is concerned. That growing traffic and people, as has been explained or said, discussed by the co-speakers who have mentioned, that yes, we do have that potential and we need to, because every region, every state, there has the potential and ambition also to have a proper infrastructure in the aviation sector. So only my question to the Honourable Minister regarding one or two points I would like to ask. That non-obstancy clause that is there, I would ask the Honourable Minister while he replies, that non-obstancy clause which is there, that provisions may need further consideration, section 19/4, that bill provides that creditor shall indemnify the insolvency administrator for cost incurred in the preservation and maintenance of the aircraft, this provision does not find any reference either in the Cape Town Convention of the Aircraft Protocol. So what would be the clarification, or what is your say? I mean, I would like to know about it. Similarly, that it is the duty, it is the responsibility of the debtor to, when it is under moratorium, that moratorium itself, that indemnity which is given, that indulgence which is given, as to which we need to remove now by this legislation, that during that period, that preservation, that expenses which are incurred on the flight, on the aircraft, the maintenance of it, that is not a profit. That is, on the contrary, where the cost would go, whether it will be cost taken up by or it will pass on to the lessor, or the debtor has to own it. That needs to be explained. I think minister should explain this, because this is the grey area where this legislation needs to put some light, and it should be corrected before it becomes a legislation which would operate as a law. And of course, by this, naturally, India has a potential, our country has a potential to grow, which would add to our economy and bolster the aviation industry also. Thank you very much.
Thank
sir.
you.